Well, we met in 1992 in high school. So he was actually on basketball and I was on cheerleading, but we met through mutual friends and just really was friends for a while. We had kind of the same friendships and people saw it in us before we saw it in ourselves.
She wanted me.
I just we were in class. We had one class together, and yeah, other people was like, I think y'all like each other.
That's a tough question, but I think I really realized it when I was full of myself. I think is when I really realized that I was new airman in the Air Force. She was at Ohio State University. I was in the dorms at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio. And when we almost broke up, that's when I think I really knew that she was the one. Because I was, feeling myself, going to parties, and she was at school going to parties and different things. But when I reflected on what I wanted in life, and I was about to lose that because of my own doing, I think that's when I knew she was the one. Let me get my butt up there to Ohio State and make this right.
Before I knew the Holy Spirit as a comforter, Larry was my comforter. Growing up, we were in the inner city streets of Cleveland, and we went through a lot of things young. We grew up fast. And he was the person that I could talk to, the person I can confide in. He was, my best friend. Even I had girlfriends and things of that nature. They really, some things you kind of put a mask on for your girlfriends. You don't never want to let them see you sweat. You don't want them to judge you. But with him, I didn't have to worry about him judging me. He was always encouraging and very comforting. Because we got married at 19 and 20 years old, I watched him literally go from a boy to a man of valor.
For her, she grew up in the church. I didn't. So a blessing was her bringing me in. I was the whole piece. I didn't want to be a hypocrite coming to church. I was that guy that, doing all those things. We all have a story. But she brought me into the church. She was praying for me when I needed it, when I didn't know what the Spirit was, what the free gift was of, what giving my life away was. So she brought me to the church. I didn't grow up in that, and that's been a huge blessing, from the man I was to the man I've become. And I'm still growing. We all have a growth we still need to do, but without her, I wouldn't have even been on this route. So me, with God, I'm not a real affectionate person. I've kind of always been. I didn't really grow up like that, whereas she did. People always hugging, kissing, just showing that love. And so God has been working on me to do those little things that you don't think is normal all the time. To come give you a kiss, tell you I love you. You do it when you're departing, going to work, those kind of routine type things when I'm going TDY or whatever. But to just out of the blue, just to give a hug and a kiss, some good words,
Love for me is love changes. Throughout the years, love continues to change, and how we show it, like he says, and how we express it. Just be an example. I've learned over the years that it's not about us. It's never about us. Our marriage, the fact that we can walk in together holding hands. It's not for us. It's for His glory. It's for someone else. It's for who's watching us, to always be an example. And sometimes we lose sight of that. Even this week has been hard. So, you never want to come off fake and phony, and so it's been a hard week. And to be able to still walk in here and be able to put a smile on and just say, I love you, because it was a hard week, but I still love you.
I still love you too. James 1:19, where it says, be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. That is something that I try to walk by, because I am quick to, she calls me flip mode, because I flip out, real quick. And so I gotta be able to listen, I'm saying? Guys, listen to your wife. Whenever I typically don't listen to her, I find out things the hard way, and I gotta come back and I should have listened to you. And I don't give her the right to think that she's right 100% of the time, but I say about 92%. She is right.
Well, I get an A.
So.
And for women, for young women, and even women that feel like they're mature in their marriages, there's always something you can learn. And going back to the slow to speak, just using wisdom when you open your mouth. we were learning this week about a paradigm shift. And growing up culturally, my mother didn't say much of anything because my father was the head of the house and you be quiet. So of course I grew up thinking, when I get married, I'm gonna speak up. I got things to say. And so that using wisdom in that, because now I have to learn when to be quiet, and the Holy Spirit will tell you, okay, that's enough, and just listening to God when he says, okay, now you need to be quiet, and allow your husband to really just, he is the head, he is the high priest of the home, and just really being submissive to that. And so a lot of times in my generation, we don't want to be as submissive because we want to speak up. We're women, we need our voice to be heard, but just learning how to just really submit to your husband and really allow him to walk in that authority that God has given him.
That's great. Cut.
You guys feel good?
Yeah. Do.
Oh, man.
We are Team Howard, and this is our marriage story.